In this video, I want to talk about 6 trends that I think your business needs to take very seriously in 2022 to have a fantastic year and position yourself for future growth in years to come. Let's get it going. What's going on, guys? Greg here, Alt Agency at altagency.com. And we train and coach marketing service providers and agency owners on how to grow, systematize, and scale. And in this video, like I said, I want to share some things that I'm seeing happen, things that we're paying attention to, capitalizing on, and getting ready to capitalize on to position ourselves to have a really great 2022 and beyond. And I want you to be in on this as well, because I think it's really important because the marketing landscape, the online business landscape continues to rapidly evolve with things like Web3, crypto, etc. So that being said, if you are new here and you have yet to subscribe, go ahead and click that like button and that notification bell because we actually have a new video every single week. So the first thing that I want to share is community. Now, what do I mean by community? I mean free communities and paid communities. In the last year to 2 years, you really saw a rise of private Facebook groups as really essentially creating a prospecting pool of your ideal audience that you use to create nurture content and move them into sales conversations, etc. So much so that there's literally a dozen coaching businesses that do multiple 7 figures a year just teaching you how to grow and fill Facebook groups. You have to understand that there's power in taking your ideal prospect and putting them into a community, cultivating that community by adding value, content, etc. But you're also going to see a rapid rise in paid communities. These could be anywhere from low ticket, $20 a month to a few $100s a year. It's all about building and cultivating a community of your ideal prospects. Obviously, there's different ways to support that community with premium content, access, events, and there's a lot of people doing it different ways. But as you see costs of acquisition continue to rise and platforms bolting down on the security and analytics, making it harder and harder for marketers to effectively advertise on some of these channels in a way where they have better visibility, putting your ideal community and investing in building and cultivating that community to get obviously a revenue stream to help offset acquisition, which should fuel new product creation, innovation, and things like that, is going to be, I think, very popular in 2022 and beyond. I see a handful of my peers and companies I admire doing this in some way, shape, or form, where it's not necessarily designed to be a core revenue stream, but more so having the finger on the pulse of your audience and having them in a community that more so you own. This is where you see the rise of software tools like Circle.so, where you're not in a Facebook community, which Facebook owns, but you have access to this platform that's off Facebook that you manage and cultivate these experiences inside of that community. So trend number 1 is building both free and paid communities that support and add value into the marketplace specifically for your ideal avatar. And you can use that audience to monetize through a variety of different fashions: sponsorship, product creation, affiliate deals, etc. Now, the second trend is YouTube Shorts. My friend Chris Doe over at The Future, I'll link him up below, just did a really amazing video, which, again, will be linked up below, on how their channel went from 1 million subscribers to start 2021 to just shy of 2 million subscribers in under a year. And it was because they doubled down on Shorts. You're starting to see a lot more people really launch YouTube channels just using Shorts. We historically on this channel, if you paid attention to it, we would release 1 video every Thursday, like this video, but we started weaving in 2 to 3 shorts a week. And we saw the number of subscribers per month go from about 200 to 300 a month to 300 to 500 a month, because the only change we made was adding more shorts, which, builds eyeballs, creates exposure, keeps us top of mind, and getting in front of newer audiences to then subscribe to channels to watch the longer form videos like this. Now, I know a big obstacle for a lot of people was the editing of videos like this and all of that. You need a video editor, etc. And you could argue that you need that for the shorts too. But there are some people out there that are doing 60-second videos that are just talking head, dropping one nugget of value and launching their channels to thousands of subscribers pretty quickly. So if you were interested in YouTube because of the SEO searchability benefit, which I think is a game changer. Honestly, I'll talk about that in a separate video. It really lowers the barrier, in my opinion, to jumping into YouTube without having to do long form videos like this, needing crazy video editing production, a lot of which can actually be done on your phone because Shorts is designed for mobile, vertical format, 9:16, just like Instagram Reels and TikTok and all that stuff. So you can now launch a YouTube channel just with Shorts and benefit from the SEO juice that comes from them being owned by Google. The next trend that I think you should consider is acquiring businesses and media outlets. This is something I'm new to following, but you can buy businesses with no money down. You can buy media assets with very little money. I have a friend who works with agency owners as well, and he bought someone else's Facebook group and email list because they were gonna shut down their business and move on to new things. So he acquired a separate Facebook group that had thousands of people, his ideal audience inside that group, as well as a 30,000 person email list. That's an asset that now he can use inside of his existing business, which really he just acquired an audience of eyeballs of his ideal prospects. You're seeing HubSpot acquire and build podcast. They built their own podcasting network. A lot of top podcasts that you may even follow or listen to are actually operating under the HubSpot umbrella because they realize that they can only get in front of so many people with their content. They've actually saw kind of a dip and even a plateau in the amount of traffic that they get to their site, and they're all about inbound if you follow HubSpot. If they go out and acquire different marketing and business related podcasts that are also growing, they will expand their reach and the eyeballs, and they'll get to be the primary exclusive sponsor of those podcasts. So it's a really great way for them to get in front of more people. And you're seeing this in smaller shapes and sizes too, from email list acquisition to Facebook groups to podcasts to YouTube channels. This is all a part of the large overarching evolution that I've talked about on this channel before. Is all service businesses are really starting to become media businesses, and owning the media outlets and having control over those not only expands your reach, but gives you a pool of people to be marketing to through sponsorship, through affiliate deals, through software, through services, all of those things. You can be monetizing these new outlets if you're acquiring them. If you see a media outlet or a Facebook group or an Instagram handle. I have a friend, he just bought a very small Instagram handle. It gets a lot of organic traffic, and he bought it for about $5,000 and had 18,000 followers. And he's already been able to grow it to almost 100,000 followers. There's a lot of different ways to be looking at buying media outlets as well as businesses. You're going to see a lot of people that are shutting down their business that could be pretty profitable for you to come in. Maybe they're getting ready to retire and they don't have a child who's going to take over the business. That's an area that I'm just starting to look at. I think you're going to start to see a lot more acquisition of media outlets and or businesses. Another trend is Twitter. I'm new to Twitter. The reason I bring Twitter up is because it's one of the best educations that I've ever seen. People drop serious value on Twitter. So even if the trend for you is to hop in and start following really smart people, there's a lot of people that share a lot of content on Twitter that don't even show up on Facebook. They don't run Facebook ads. They're not on Instagram. That literally could be the equivalent of an MBA at top colleges and universities. Hedge fund people, multi-billionaires are just sharing tons of value. So at the very least, get on Twitter and start learning. Bet that you'll start to see if you are sharing valuable content that it will drive traffic your way as well. Next is owning your own assets. This kind of ties to some of the things I've already been talking about, but with the metaverse and cost of acquisition going up, you are seeing a rise in people wanting to build their email list and or own their communities. So Substack is a really popular platform. If you spend any time on Twitter, you'll see tons of people that now charge $200-$300 a year to be on a paid newsletter. The Hustle got acquired by HubSpot for arguably, 20 to 35 million. I don't think the number was disclosed, but there's a lot of people hypothetically saying somewhere around there. So the ability to go out there, a topic that you're interested in, expertise that you have, and get paid to curate content and create content exclusive to the email list that you own could be a revenue stream and an asset that you own and control that no one can take away from you, that can drive revenue each and every day, week, and month. And start following people that are getting paid for simply having a newsletter, and start thinking about what assets can you either build and or make sure you own by acquiring the email list or the mobile number with the text-based marketing as well. And last up is podcasts. Again, kind of falls in line with the media. I mentioned HubSpot building out their own network, but I know I personally listen to a lot of podcasts. I've hosted multiple podcasts, and I think you're going to start to see a lot more people capitalizing on the ability to just grab a microphone and share really targeted, niche down value content to their audience. I think podcasting isn't so much an acquisition channel, but it's an amazing nurture channel because they get to know you. You have your audience wearing headphones and you're in their earbuds. It's about as intimate as you can get. And the great thing about it compared to say something like YouTube, which again, also is extremely powerful, is that it's something that people can listen to while they're driving, while they're working out, while they're cooking, while they're doing a lot of their most favorite activities. You're participating in those activities with them. Unlike where if it's an instructional video, maybe like this, that you want to be paying attention and watching, or when I draw on my iPad, for example. So those are the things I think you need to be paying attention to. Obviously, don't try to capitalize on all of them at once. Ones that interest you, definitely dive into deeper. We'll be covering some of these more on this channel in the future. So that's community, diving into YouTube Shorts, acquiring businesses and media outlets to expand your audience, jumping into Twitter, both for an education and acquisition over time, demonstrating your expertise. Number 5 is owning your assets, whether that's an email list and or an SMS list. And lastly, starting to nurture your audience through a podcast. If you found this useful, go ahead and give this video a like and a subscription. And I want to know in the comments, which of these trends is the most interesting to you that you want to focus on in 2022? If you could only pick one, which one's it going to be? Drop it in the comments and I'll see you there. Peace.